The Great Barrier Reef is the largest coral reef system in the world. It can be seen from outer space, and it's even bigger than Massachusetts. The symbiotic relationship between the coral and algae is hindered by rising water temperatures, however, which leads to bleaching of the reefs. This leads to algae ejection and starving of the coral. It is in a supposedly stable location because of Australia's strict protection of it, along with limits of global warming set by the Paris Agreement. However, the United States has announced it would leave the agreement. As a result, half of the Great Barrier Reef has died in the last 2 years. In only the last 9 months, another third of the Great Barrier Reef has died.
We are at Walmart,
the epicenter of disease, war, and pollution.
and we are trying to get to the epicenter of the problem at stake. And that problem is
Pollution. The Great Barrier Reef.
dying. Do you know what the Great Barrier Reef is?
Nah.
Do you know what a coral reef is?
Oh yeah, that's like kind of like Nemo fish kind of do it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Do you know where? Do you have a guess where the Great Barrier Reef is?
at the very bottom
Of what?
of the sea.
Well, it's in Australia and it's dying.
Okay.
Do you care that it's dying?
Well, I mean, it's a living thing
Yeah.
for animals to go in and out. So that's like a home for an animal.
Yeah.
So
Do you know what the Great Barrier Reef is?
Yes, it's in Australia.
Do you know what's happening to it?
It's eroding.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Pollution.
Do you know, what do you think we should do about it dying?
I think that there should be a way to preserve it.
Or like, should it be like something the government does or something people start doing?
I don't see why not, because if we protect other landmarks and other natural treasures in the world,
That's correct. So,
What are we gonna do? They're dying out here.
Walmart's answers left us mostly disappointed, so we went to Petco to look for more insightful interviews.
do you know what the Great Barrier Reef is?
Yes.
Do you know what's happening to it?
I know it's probably ocean acidification and stuff like that, slowly deteriorating, pollution, overfishing.
What do you think we should do about it?
Definitely regulate, overfishing in general, and honestly stop, just pass laws, environmental laws, whatever we can.
I agree. Alright, that's it.
So you know about the Great Barrier Reef, right, sir? No, it's okay. Take your time. Silence speaks volumes.
After several mediocre answers from Petco employees, we decided to go to an even more experienced place. The Marshall's fitting room manager.
We're doing a thing for a college class. It's like a documentary. And we're gonna ask people, we're gonna spend 1 minute asking people questions about science.
I don't think they do that here. You can ask the manager. We're not managers.
Well, we were disappointed but not surprised. They declined to interview. What do you think this means? As you can see for yourself, these 6 scammers have no regard for coral life. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with yourself? Are you okay with the world? I don't think you should be. After this, we decided we'd had enough with the public interviews, so we wanted to cite a much more credible source. the AP Environmental Science teacher at Greenbrier High School.
Half of the Great Barrier Reef has died since 2016. Does that surprise you? And if it does, why or why not?
No, it doesn't surprise me, and based on what I've read and what we learn about in apes, it doesn't surprise me.
Okay. What laws do you think can be passed by Australia or like other governments worldwide to try to protect the group?
Well, there's a lot of reasons that they believe that the coral's dying. So it's not just one factor. So some of it has to do with things that are occurring internationally, globally. So climate change is at the number one on their list. So that would take an international effort. Runoff with pesticides and fertilizers, that's a big problem. So that would require that particular area to govern what's entering their water systems. And then some other problems would be trawling, so boat trawling is damaging the coral reefs, and there are already some laws in place to protect the reefs from tourists and from boat trawling, but it's still happening. And then the other global issue would be plastics in the ocean and pollution in the ocean. So that's going to take a global effort as well to eliminate the stuff that we use.
A lot of the pollution that people make is a side effect of us requiring energy in our daily lives. So do you think there's a way to meet people's energy needs without like destroying the environment?
Absolutely. I think if we just start using less stuff, that's the best and easiest thing to do right now. So we're learning how to decrease our dependency on fossil fuels, but myself included, we need fossil fuels right now to get from place to place. But I think the easiest thing is to just stop using so much stuff. Just little ones.
That flows into the next question, well, because what role does America specifically play in the environment, specifically the Great Barrier Reef?
I think it's pretty huge. So all of our oceans are connected. It's one ocean. So we tend to think of, out of sight, out of mind. It's on the other side of the world, so we don't have to worry about it. But really, we have a large impact on our planet because our average footprint is so large.
Mm-hmm. And we actually did interviews on this. Most normal citizens, they barely even know what the Great Barrier Reef is, let alone the fact that it's dying or anything like that. And how big of a problem is it that there's basically no public awareness to it?
It's unfortunate that a lot of the tours that I've read about that people do at the Great Barrier Reef are ones where they take them to the healthiest places and they show them this beautiful coral reef, which it is. But I think they also need to show people the other side of it. What does the majority of it look like? So I think that's a shame that we need to see all of it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to happen if the Great Barrier Reef 100% dies? There's nothing left of it. What would the main outcome be?
Well, because it's so large, that's a good indication of what will happen to other coral reefs in the ocean. So here you're going to have habitat loss. It's not only going to be an environmental disadvantage to habitats of living marine creatures, but it's also going to be an economic loss for that area and for the whole world. So without these fish species, there's going to be an impact on what we're catching, what's going to be available for food. Tourism will definitely take a hit. But I think it's a good indicator, a good health indicator of the rest of the planet.
So that's all.
As of right now, 93% of the entire Great Barrier Reef has experienced at least some form of bleaching. Are you really okay with this? The coral reefs are dying, and it's because of you. Innocent reefs dying.